a young lady who was just asking other young ladies about their preferences when it came to what they wanted out of men.
Everything that I'm feeling is not necessarily a bad thing.
What brings us real satisfaction out of our relationships?
Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
And it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people.
Yes, we are. Also appreciate when you like, when you comment, when you share, and when you watch these videos all the way through. That watch time is really going to help us. So I do want to bring up these 4 points, the 4 things that they have identified that can tear down your relationship. So let's just jump into it real quick. The first one is criticism. So if you find yourself critiquing and criticizing everything in your relationship, everything about it, everything about your significant other, if you're the type of person that comes home and goes, why the dishes not washed? Why the floors not swept? Why the kids ain't bathed? Why did you eat dinner? Why didn't you eat dinner? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why you sit here all day? Like, if that's you, that's the criticism part that comes out, and criticism breeds just contempt.
So how do you deal with constructive criticism?
Here's the thing. Constructive criticism, to me, starts with trust.
Absolutely.
Continues through communication.
100%.
Continues through communication and goes to the criticism and comes back to, kiss, slap, kiss type of deal.
Right.
It has to come back to something positive, so that you can end on a high note.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I think that's the way you kind of go through constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I think if you can't go through it that way, it ain't constructive criticism.
It's just criticism.
Just criticism. So don't delude yourself. Your partners, you're not deluding your partner. Right. They feel it, so they know it. Contempt is the next one on the list.
Contempt.
And that contempt is like that. I like to think of contempt as silent frustration or silent anger. It's not so much that it's big and boisterous. But it's an arresting feeling that keeps you stationary in a negative position. But like, not just sad or depressive, but anger behind that silence.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, that's interesting. I love how you put it.
Yeah, where that anger is, you're not going to find a whole lot of peace. And if you're not finding peace, you're not finding a place that you can really rest your mind.
So contempt is scary because it can creep up.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And contempt can creep up so quickly that you don't realize you're there until you're already there. And once you're there, it's really hard to back off, because if you're feeling contempt, you feel justified in the way you're feeling. There's a feeling of, I am okay with the fact that I feel like this.
It's interesting that you put it that way, because I would have said it would creep up slowly and therefore catch you off guard.
And that's the thing.
So that's interesting that you said it that way, because I was thinking, oh, this is something, it's one little thing here, and then I'm feeling this way there, and then, then it's good for a little bit, and then it's, and next thing you know, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
But I think contempt.
I'm so angry.
But I think contempt is not the rage.
Oh, that's the thing. True.
Contempt is past that.
So it's more like an indifference?
It's closer to an indifference.
Okay.
But there's still volatility behind it.
I see.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get where you're coming from.
There's still a volatility behind it. And that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're volatile, but you don't have the oomph to fight about it, there is no bridge to reconciliation.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Which means building that bridge is now a purposeful, conscious effort. You mean with that contempt, you have to now build a bridge.
Yeah.
And hell, with contempt, just the willingness to build a bridge is a bridge too far. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
The pun was totally intended. Just throwing it out there. Real quick. Okay, let me get to the next two.
Yeah.
Because I also have the antidote. So I want to get to these next two. Defensiveness. I don't really think that needs a whole lot of explanation. But I will say this. I am a very defensive person. However, I didn't know that until I was in my marriage. My wife was like, why are you so defensive? And I was like, no, I'm not.
Defensive.
And then I had to
Just prove my point.
And then I had to go, maybe I'm a little bit more defensive than I think I am. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I will say this on defensive.
And we'll go further into that because, we've dug deep into that. We'll talk about that in another episode.
That might need its own whole
dig deep
episode.
into that because defensiveness usually comes from a really deep-rooted place, usually from childhood or past experiences. So that one is really tricky because you really have to find the root cause.
You really do have to find the root cause. And the last one here is stonewalling.
That's what we just did.
Yeah, that's stonewalling. That part.
Oh my gosh, it's the most annoying thing ever.
Yeah, and guys, this is what we do. So we either talk way too much, meaning way too aggressively, or we don't say anything at all. I'm the don't say anything at all guy. Because I would rather not say anything at all than what I'm really thinking.
Right.
That's not going to be there.
And I think that most guys can attest to that. I feel like they, you don't want to say anything, or you don't want to start an argument, or you don't want to come off aggressive. And
most guys just want to maintain peace.
Stop talking.
So we stop talking because we feel like that's the easier thing to do.
Yeah.
And in small situations, maybe that's true. But overall, it ain't.
It's not. And that's the thing. I always have to say, I always say that, see, there I go. I can't get my words out. I always say that, it's okay that you don't have anything to say in the moment, but it's kind of really important that you say that. It's important that you say that. If you're in a place where you're like, look, anything I say right now is not going to be good, you need to be able to say, okay, I hear you. I'm not in the position right now to respond healthy. So can we come back to this tomorrow? Or I'll get back at you. You know what I'm saying? That is important because even though you may have presented that stone wall, you just broke it by saying that much.
It's true.
Because sometimes you can't talk about it right now. I know so many people that the one person wants to talk now and the other person's like, nah, I need a minute.
The whole time.
What do you do with that?
The whole time. I'm 40 in December. Yeah, these days it's like, not with her necessarily, but overall, oh yeah, I don't think I'll let it fly.
The impatience is not.
Let's go.
It's not there. The filters aren't there. Even with each other, we have to be like, okay,
we gotta pump brakes.
Like I'm sorry, I'm a little defensive. So
my bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, let me just back up because it's a big deal.
It's serious.
But we have antidotes. So let's get to
I want to hear them.
Let's get to the antidotes. So a gentle startup is better. Is the antidote to criticism.
Okay, tell me more. So
now I really feel like, especially with the gentle startup, it's really hard to call it because gentle is subjective. However,
yes, very. Your gentle and my gentle is two different things.
But what I'd like to swap that word gentle out for is lighthearted.
I like that.
For me,
I like that a lot.
I like to joke. I like to laugh. It doesn't necessarily always mean that I'm about to, like with the conversation that we're about to have ain't about to be hard, but if we can laugh about it, if we can chuckle, if we can say, hey, it is what it is. Let's laugh about it. Let's address it. But it's cool. It happens. Things happen. Let's just take this lighthearted approach. This is hard. I acknowledge that this is hard, but we can laugh about it. I promise. And the whole mood is different. And I think it's important that especially when you're going to have a difficult conversation, especially when you're trying to create a different energy around the way you relate, especially when critiques and criticism are involved, being able to have a gentle start or just a lighthearted go of it is definitely something that can bring the right energy at the right moment. We had some times this week where we had some discussions that was like, okay, all right. You sure? That's what we're doing?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of defensive-ness, some tit for tat in there, and that's usually not how we communicate.
Not at all.
Like, at all. Like, we usually try to be very open-minded. We are both very opinionated. But we also try to respect each other's opinions about things. Definitely. But this week, y'all, it was a little rough. I might be PMSing a little bit in there too. So, I have to be mindful of all of that.
Yes. So I think a gentle start, especially for me, believe it or not, and ladies, FYI, your guy is a lot more sensitive than he lets on. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it. We have feelings too. as rudimentary as that sounds, we have feelings too. And if you're going to trample on those feelings because you're just better with words than we are, then you got to be prepared for the backlash that comes with it. And fellas, you have to be prepared to change an energy in the room. So I think that, that's the best way to kind of get that going. All right, let's keep going. A culture of appreciation is the antidote to contempt. So if you're a person, if you're dealing with somebody who is, let's just, instead of using the word contempt, let's just use the word angry, because that's like rounding to the nearest 100. Like we can process that, right? You know somebody who's been angry before. However, most people who are angry usually get anger or defensiveness or something like that in return, because what you put out into the world is what you usually get back, right? So if you're the person who's angry and you're getting back, I see that you're angry, but I sincerely appreciate everything you're doing. I just wanted to let you know that. It's really hard to continue to be angry. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Facts.
No matter how angry you are.
Facts.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that you acknowledge that. It's usually no matter how, because it is what it is. The Bible, and I'm not saying that you got to be Christian, but the Bible talks about how a woman's respect for a man, and this is just the context, so don't get all bent out of shape, people. But a woman's respect for a man is so strong that it can even affect a man who doesn't believe in Jesus. A man whose heart is stone to Jesus can be moved by a woman's respectful behavior. I think that's a powerful thing. And I think, ladies, in your feminine energy, in your real feminine, not the fake me out joint that people are trying to pass off as feminine energy, but the real feminine energy is that powerful. It is that powerful. And sometimes when she looks at you and goes, but I love you through it. Ooh. Oh. I don't know, man. Warlords have been known to be like, all right, okay, you win. You win. I get it.
All right, I'm anxious to hear the next one.
All right, here we go. Taking responsibility is the antidote to defensiveness. And I never
like that.
I never like the term taking responsibility, because it really feels like, even though we're saying take it, it feels more like it's being shoved on you.
Right.
So I kind of switched up to assuming responsibility.
I like that.
I am choosing that, even though I feel this way, that this is my responsibility, and I am choosing to decide how I'm going to deal with it, and to deal with it in a way that makes me better and makes the scenario work.
Well, the truth is, if you really take the mature approach on your relationship, you both have responsibility in whatever happens.
That is very true,
and
whether you believe it or not.
It's very easy for us to just put that on the other person and be like, nah, this ain't me. That's where that's part of being
part of the defensive. Right?
And so if you naturally are open and willing to take responsibility, and both of you can do that, yeah, babe.
That's powerful.
That is powerful.
It is powerful.
That is powerful. And sometimes you catch yourself and be like, I'm really sorry that came out that way. I'm really, really sorry. I take full responsibility for the way that came out. So sometimes it's even after.
Yeah.
But that is even better than acting like, oh, it's all your fault.
Yeah. I've had to a few times go, what I just say sound as bad to you out loud as it did in my head when I rewound the tape just now? And she goes, yes, I'm so sorry. That was truly not my intention. I take responsibility for that. But she didn't have to say, well, what you said yesterday made me feel like this. And then I started. No, she didn't have to do all that. No. Let's not even let it go there.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you and say, hey, I ran the tape back. And there's been plenty of times she's like, no, I don't think at all what you said was bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'd be like, yeah, bro, that was that. I don't know what you on one today. So But the fact is that because I didn't let it get to a place, I assumed responsibility and said, let me just double check this because I want to make sure that I got this right. I think that's a very poignant thing. And the last one, don't let me lose my place, is self-soothing is the antidote to stonewalling.
Okay. Interesting.
Self-soothing. Self-soothing in a healthy way. Self-soothing in a healthy way is the antidote to stonewalling. Meaning, if you are the one stonewalling, you're putting up a barrier between you and yours, right? But what that does is two things. One, it keeps your partner on the other side of that wall. But two, and more importantly, it keeps you isolated. So if you're going to be isolated, you've not only cut yourself off from the thing that is irritating you, you've also cut yourself off from a possible antidote to what's irritating you. So if you're going to do that, then you have to be willing to take responsibility enough to self-soothe in a way that brings you back to a place where you can move the wall and deal with the issue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, just to bring this back full circle, it's important that we can go through these things because it helps us narrow down for real what is important to us in a relationship, what can truly bring us satisfaction. Because if you're in a relationship with a person who's angry and they don't know how not to be angry, there's two choices. You can leave or you can stay. If you leave, you've already addressed the problem. But if you choose to stay, and a lot of us do, for whatever reason, then these are some of the things that help you decide what for you in that scenario is important for real. Not the car, not the house, not the lifestyle, not the vacations, not the sex, not the dates, but how life can be lived, how joy can be had, how we can all work together toward that common goal. You see what I'm saying? So we know plenty of people who are in relationships with people who are one way or another, and they have to find a way through. And when you have to find a way through, it's not always as easy as, well, just cut them off and just be done. Well, just drop her and that's it. Sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes it's not that simple. And can you be satisfied? Perhaps. But it's going to take work and it's going to take some effort. So, absolutely. So, yeah. I think it was a lot.
Yeah. That was really good information, baby.
Yeah, I think it was a lot.
That was great. That was great. I mean, the approach that you take really can cause you to think about it in so many ways. But, you know, do you want to be satisfied? Yes. But shoot for higher.
Shoot for higher.
Right? Satisfaction is great. You want to be satisfied, but you want so many other things that, you know, play a role in that. And, you know, that's just keep going higher and higher and higher. Don't just settle for, you know, don't just be content or just don't go beyond that. You know, and so the fact that you know, broke those things down, it's very, it was very insightful.
I appreciate it. And it's not my thoughts. So we're going to link to John Gottman's work down below, as well as just kind of like a really quick YouTube video on how it kind of all breaks down. But these are our words on it, and we really hope it helps you. Hey, if you guys like this content, make sure you like and subscribe. We really super appreciate it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Check out our shorts. Check out all of our content that's coming out. And remember, we're better together.